Alrighty, we are live from Columbus, OH. This is the Ramsey Show, Aftershow show. And started a few minutes early since the Ramsey Show Best of. Ramsey Show Best of ended 6 minutes early, so here we are, early. What up, Sid? What up, Robert G? I am Coach Steve Money, and you're watching this on youtube.com/CoachSteveMoney. And for my financial content, just scroll past the Oak Island playlist, and you'll see the Ramsey Show After Show playlist. Today is show number 554 in that series. And answering your financial questions playlist has 138 in there, and those are all at least an hour long. So just hundreds and hundreds of hours of me saying that people are doing it wrong. And the music playlist has 12 Ramsey adjacent songs in there. What's an example of one that I hardly ever do? Is there one? Let's see. Dave Ramsey Baby Step Song. That was the original one. There's also John Deloney. Ooh, he has 2 PhDs. 2 more than me. Plus, he's got some other certs. John Deloney. And of course, there's a video of on the gram. John Deloney's reaction to it, and me reacting to his reaction to the John Deloney song, Fun Times. And as you can see, Rachel Cruz song, Jade Warshaw song. There's also one for George Camel as well. Don't have a Ken Coleman song because I haven't figured anything out to rhyme with Ken Coleman. If I was that motivated, I could probably think of something for Ken, but not that motivated. Oh, let's see. That's not what I wanted to do at all. I wanted to go back to the main. There we go, my main page. Alrighty, and as you can see, we are live. It says so right here, and you know, I wouldn't lie to you. YouTube will lie to you. It'll say something's live when it's just pre-recorded video being streamed live, but I will not lie to you. Market report. What up, Di? What up, Trey? What up, Di? What up, Aslan? If you don't like the way your money works, you should do the baby steps. That's close enough, Sid. Sid doing our own version of it. That's fine. Highly recommended to try to make it better. Where were we? Oh, yeah. Okay, everything up today because of the European trade agreement on tariffs. And yeah, everything will be fine. Quit freaking out, everybody. And so just like going lower was an overreaction, so is this as well. So people are nutty in the market, and so Dave was just talking about on the best of. It's a best of because it was Memorial Day yesterday, so they had the day off, and so it was a best of, and so that radio show for that day is what moves to 9 a.m. Eastern Time on the YouTube. Let's see what the rest of the planet is doing here. Mostly up in Europe. Mostly down in Asia. Let's see how that US dollar is doing. Down, no, up against the euro. Up against the Japanese yen. Up against the British pound, love. Up against the Canadian dollar. And it's a clean sweep for America, as it also is above the Australian Dolomite. Oh, let's see. What else do we have to talk about? NVIDIA coming up tomorrow. They'll report tomorrow. And so that could tell you how things are going. I'm going to go ahead and guess. That AI is still in demand, and so they'll still be selling chips and such. And Marvel Technology on the 29th, also Costco on the 29th. Most followed single stocks on the Google, they are all up. Most is Tesla, 4.93%. Robert G says, after listening to your version, when I hear the normal song is not the same, you may have a future in the music industry. I wouldn't count on that. But that would be fun. I missed my, I should have gotten, I tried guitar. It didn't really take. Tried keyboards, but I gave up on it too early in my youth. So that was my bad on that. What do we have? Yahoo Finance, stock market today, Dow S&P 500, Nasdaq futures soar as Trump pauses EU tariff hikes for fast track talks. And that's how you do it. That's how you negotiate. And say what you will about POTUS, he probably knows how to negotiate. It's been a hot minute, as the kids say, Sid, since I did that, the Baby Step song, that first one. From CNBC, Salesforce to acquire data management company Informatica. An $8 billion deal. Speaking of deals, Yahoo again. Florida family was left with $700,000 in damages after Costco fridge free installation turned into a nightmare. Well, that would suck. What would have to happen to? Oh, let's see if we can find out. They got me curious now. What did they do? Flood damage after. Oh, okay. All right. I was gonna say they have to like cut the wall or the floor to put in the fridge. So okay, we got it. So it just flooded because it's probably I'm assuming, as the Brits say, that it would be one of the newer type of fridges that have the water connected to it, so it can automatically make ice and have the cold water right there for you. So yeah. And so yeah, that's not fun. 700K is a lot, and especially in Florida, you're liable to get that from outside the house as well. And of course, insurance is a lot for water damage in general, probably. Tesla's Europe sales plunge 49% on brand damage, rising competition. Fox Business, Volvo to cut 3,000 jobs. We did that one. That's an old headline. The orb will see you now. I don't know if that doesn't look like the same orb that was in. Oh, where was that? I think it was in some Spanish-speaking country. I can't remember. Some like orb, and it has weird markings on it and stuff. And they did recover it. It was filmed in flight, I guess, and then it crashed, and they did recover it. So they're working on that. See what's up with that. It's from Wired. Privacy-friendly tech to replace your US-based email browser and search. All right. Well, yeah, there's always going to be something new that does what things already do. People are always trying to do that in a better way, and that's tech for you. And that's why again, your NASDAQ should not be overlooked if you're only in the S&P 500 at the moment. Boo, boo, boo. ROG says now's a great time to buy. Just got my offer accepted. Can refi later. You can get a deal now. Northern Virginia is expensive. That is correct. The DMV is no joke on that. Don't live where all the politicians live, because you know they have like money spigots apparently. Trey got away from the coast. And you're headed towards it. Yeah, I don't want another hurricane. Rock you like a hurricane. I can pay cash for the house, but it would take all my house savings in 3 months of my 6-month emergency fund for the house and the moving cost. Yeah, and I just, like I was telling you in the chat, I just don't like that, because basically it's illogical. So if at some point you decided previously in your life, you decided, oh, I'm going to have a 6-month emergency fund, and then all of a sudden, because you want to buy something, then you think it's okay to go down to 3. Well, why did you have 6 months to begin with then? And so probably you should keep it at 6 months. Like, but I do hear that all the time. Like, that does happen all the time. Even like people I know, where they would take emergency savings, and because they heard of some investment that they want to put the money in, and so now all of a sudden it's fine to go with 3 months. And I call that intellectual dishonesty, because you're not being just because you want something now. NBC News has caused weight loss drugs like Wegovy. I can't remember. I think Wegovy, I believe. And Zepbound go down. How low can prices go? Well, the supply and demand is what would cause that, though. So I wonder if the supply and the multiple different companies doing it now, maybe that's making the price go down. CNBC, she's made $10,000 in an hour from her dumpling business. That's a lot of dumplings. More than what she made in a month in corporate. Okay, this upsets me as well. You see this word "what" here? Nobody used to say that ever. It was just more than she made a month in corporate. And the word "what" there, the first time I heard that, it was Troy Aikman on a football telecast on Monday Night Football, I think. And more than, where they throw in the "what" in there. You don't need it. It's more than she made a month in corporate. So dumb. And that was, oh gosh, that was over 10 years ago. But yeah, still upsets me. Don't like it. Not a fan. Not a fan, because it's not needed. Why throw the extra word in there? And I don't like that any more than I like, leaving, making T's silent all of a sudden. People are nutty with the with languages. All right. Anyway, that's my rant on that. What up, Maddie Bags? Hashtag mention. That's in one of my songs as well. What, the Dua Lipa one, the levitating one, and that's another song about baby steps. It's called Baby Steppin'. And that one goes, what is it? I never don't sing the songs anymore. Need a copyright. So I can't remember what it's something that's intention. What up, Maddie Bags? Hashtag mention. Do the steps let go of apprehension. Yeah. All right. Anyway, but that's in the music playlist if you want to hear all of that one. That one's called Baby Steppin'. Apostrophe. All right, let's answer some questions. No debt, need a new field, turning 24, out here in the field. I think I did that yesterday. Not the question, but I went over the question a little bit, but we didn't read exactly what all of this person's little situation is. So let's see. I don't feel like, for me, calling in and someone said posting a question can get Dave-esque advice. Well, why would you want the esque advice? Let's see. I have an undergrad in history. Interesting. I turned 24 in a week, still a baby. I've worked for local and national nonprofits for 2 years. I have no debt. That's fabulous. And I only make $30K a year. That's not fabulous. But that's what happens when you work for a nonprofit, and also that you are able to do because you have no debt. Like if this person had debt, probably couldn't live on 30,000. Let's see, with my entry-level job running a museum, belongs in a museum. Rural area, I can save a little under 1K a month. Great. Oh, I need a different career. Okay, yeah, I did say I need a new field. I mean, a history degree, what can you do with that? Teach? But I've done IT, taxes, office admin, nonprofit management. I want to own rental property, but I don't have the skills to maintain them in my own home. Yeah, so that's a no on that. Plus, you would have to buy that completely in cash, and you don't have that. So that's a nar. I'm trying to figure out the path that makes the most sense in terms of learning real skills to apply to owning property. Well, if you want to know how to fix things, you would have to, I don't know how you would do that. Apprentice to a contractor, something like that. I've been in classrooms and kitchens and offices, and I really don't know jack about basic tools and repair work. Okay, yeah, so that's rough. What I would tell you about that is to try to get. Did I open that? Oh, I did. Oh, because it was a little bit more than the one paragraph. I mean, you can try different things. That doesn't mean you're gonna like it. And as far as the owning property, that's a no unless you pay for it completely in cash. So you're not able to do that at this juncture. Probably not even able to do it if you work a different job and learn how to fix houses. That doesn't necessarily mean you will make enough to buy one to rent out. So that's not the answer. So if you've been watching TikToks and such for flip houses videos and that kind of thing, sorry about that. There's no quick and easy way to do that at all. You have to save for a long time if you're going to do it the no debt way, which businesses should be always started and run with that. Nar debt. She almost bought a pecan orchard. Almost. I'm from Virginia. My grandparents lived in North Carolina and actually grew pecans, and that's how they say it there. So I almost said pecan instead of pecan. Trey's 30 minutes from where he grew up, and parents could be more involved with baby girl, and that's great. Outrageous apricot 82. Baby step 2, out of town eating advice. Don't go out of town would be it. Is it gonna be okay? Nope, no more to this. Let's see. Listen to a lot of podcasts, and I'm starting to read the Total Money Makeover. Next week, my girlfriend and I are out of town for 5 days, and that's not recommended on baby step 2. And I'm curious how you guys handle food when you aren't home. Um, you should do it as cheaply as possible, since again, you shouldn't be going out of town anyway, because that's gas money. So you need to, on baby step 2, you need to be more gazelle and quit doing dumb stuff like this. And see, that's how it starts. It's like, oh well, we just want to go out of town for this, but then you have all the associated costs with things. And especially a lot of times, and so many times, we see stuff like this on this subreddit, and people that call the Ramsey show, is even if they're given a gift, okay, you can stay in our collection of suites. We'll pay for you to come stay with us in Hawaii. Yeah, but they're not going to pay for any of your food or anything else you do. You think they're not going to do anything that costs money and want the group all to go? Guess they're probably not going to pay for that, since they're paying for your room. So that's not a great gift when it's something that causes you to spend money when you're only on baby step 2 or 3. So that's not a good idea. That's why I said I don't even go out of town. Save the out of town for after you get done with baby step 3. Do you prep food far ahead? You can do whatever you want that keeps it cheap, dog. Only eat fast food with deals. I don't trust you to do that. So normally, not always, but normally what I do is I get like a $2 or less cheeseburger, and that would be it. I don't get the fries. I don't get the drink with it. I have my own drinks at home, and of course you wouldn't, but you can take drinks with you. Get a cooler or anything like that. Suck it up and eat out. Okay, so sucking it up and eating out, that's not what does that, how does that help you with baby step 2? It doesn't. It goes against baby step 2. It's going to make you be in debt longer. So that's a no on that one. If you have to do it, or you even think you have to do it, people can run their own lives for sure. But you're doing it wrong if you're trying to do the baby steps and follow the advice, because the advice is to be gazelle intense on baby step 2 and 3. So it needs to be cheaper than sucking it up and eating out. I feel like just sucking it up and eating out delays the focus intensity. And the reason you feel like that for you is because it freaking does. I tried Googling, but no post match my situation, so I want to discuss with experienced folks like you. And of course, I'm going to say don't go out of town. Go out of town after you're done with baby step 3. Don't do that. Don't do anything that causes extra added expense. Don't do that. Di and Trey talking about Texas. That's the Lone Star State, kids. Random thoughts. Just read Total Money Makeover. Great. I read the whole book. Well, that's good. Beginning to end. That's normally how you want to read the books. Not start in the middle. I truly feel like, for me, this is the first time I understand what I'm doing when it comes to budgeting and can see the goals clearly laid out. I'm currently on baby step 2. Great. It's better than being on baby step 1. Good job. My question is, how do you keep all these funds separate? Do you do envelopes or have several savings account? People ask that quite a bit on here. How do you do this? If you have to do envelopes so that you don't go over budget. My ex-wife and I did not have any problem sticking to the agreed upon budget using a debit card, so that's all we had to do. Or have several savings accounts. Well, you don't want to do that either, especially if it's not free to open up the saving account, because some of them have fees. So I just started up the budgeting. I'm old-fashioned. Old-fashioned pen and paper for my budget. All right, that's fine. I like it better than every dollar. That's fine. Again, however you have to do it to stick to the budget. The best way you can do it to understand exactly what is going on with every dollar, even if you don't use the Every Dollar app. But curious how you keep your money separate for funds, i.e. grocery, car maintenance. Yeah, like, so if I have a sinking fund or something like that, I can put a bunch of different funds together and I know how much is supposed to be in each. So, and I won't have a problem taking out too much for one particular category. So, but everybody can't do that. And so you do whatever you have to do to stick to your budget. I plan on keeping fund money for hubby and I in our Venmos, and eat out money in an old-fashioned piggy bank in the kitchen. Hey, guess what? By the way, baby step 1, 2. You said you're on baby step 2. There's no eating out. There's no eat out money. No, that's a no. Put that to debt. So you're doing it wrong. You missed the part in Total Money Makeover. I don't know if it says exactly this, but there's no eating out. There's no eating out. If you've heard the Ramsey show at all, you probably heard him say several times, you don't set foot into a restaurant, and that includes fast food, unless you are working there. Temporary car 8662, budgeting on Every Dollar app. Let's see, June is coming up, that much is certain. Pretty close. So I'm looking at my first full month on the Every Dollar app. If I have a bill due on June 5th, how am budgeting that? The Every Dollar app is only tracking for the month I am in, which would be June. Okay, I generally budget for the month ahead. So if I pay the June 5th bill, after that, I'm money out of my account to save for the July 5th bill. Am I overthinking this? Probably, but also you might be better served doing a spreadsheet budget of your own, doing it in the way that you're thinking about it. Because I think, yeah, you can only do, I think, 1 month at a time in Every Dollar. Sid would know better than me. Whoops. Since I get a free breakfast hotel, take extra muffins and pastries and fruit up to the room. 1 meal out a day, usually fast food. 1 nice meal for the whole trip. That was several questions back. Sorry, Sid. But that means drive-through is okay, right? /sarcasm. Yep. That is not, drive-through is not part of it. Although technically setting foot, but yeah, again, I couldn't tell you, I didn't like Every Dollar, so I went back to my spreadsheet, and that does exactly what I want to do. And guess what? I can see last month and this month. I could see it all at the next month, and however many months I can project it ahead as far as I wanna. And so I can have all that information there all at the same time. Now, Every Dollar, that may be one of my big problems with it if it only focuses on 1 month at a time. And maybe Sid will have something else to say about that. Since it's budgeting Every Dollar app, that's why we do a budget cycle that starts the payday before the month starts, okay? And so every dollar says it's all May or all June or something like that, but you know that it's a different date. So payday before the month start to basically 30-ish days later. So, but you know that that is. And of course, some people will have a problem and are not able to do that because they're just like, even though that makes perfect sense to me, I get it. Where, how I could do that, the payday before the month. And they might be like, the same thing like in this is Spinal Tap. These go to 11 when the director guy said, why don't you just make 10 louder? And he says, these guys, because people start thinking about it in their own way and can adjust their head to get around doing something like that. What? How can you start it a payday before the month begins? How can you do that? Easy. Not you. You can't do it easily, apparently, though. Snack cakes. 1. Sugar. 15% in retirement. You have understood correctly. That is baby step 4. Invest 15% of your household income into retirement. So what's the question? Hi guys. I currently have 9% going into my TSP and 0.8% going into a pension. Does everyone agree? Everybody agrees. It's me. Hi. I'm the problem. It's me. Does everyone agree that 15% is the magic number? Well, so you see, if you just gander right up here, you're not on just general everybody agreeing that it's the magic number. You're not seeing that. This is the Dave Ramsey subreddit, so expect the Dave Ramsey advice to be discussed. Now, you will have people on here that are haters and don't like that, and we'll give you the non-Ramsey advice for sure, but it's pretty dumb to be asking about it in this way. Let's see if the person can redeem themselves. Is the magic number. Should I do 15% in my TSP? Well, yeah, open a Roth IRA. If you can do is there Roth PST? I had to look up a bunch of stuff yesterday too. Roth TSP. Let's see. Roth TSP contribution. So you can do it, but again, maybe your employer would have to offer it. So if that's an option, you can just do that, and you should do that because Roth is going to be prioritized only after match. So you would get the match first in any type of account with your employer that's giving you the match. But this 0.8% going into pension, how that figures in is that equals 0.4% towards the 15%. So basically you got to do 14.6% to get to the 15% number, which that is the magic number. That is part of the Dave Ramsey advice. And that is part of millions of documented success stories and 30-year track record. Or you can just have anybody weigh in these 45 comments down here. Should I do 15 in my tip? Again, I would see if you can do a Roth TSP. And if you can't do a Roth TSP, then you should, and there's no match or anything like that going to it, no bonuses going into it, then you would prioritize the Roth IRA if there is no match at all. Put money in a brokerage? No. Why wouldn't you take advantage of tax advantaged retirement accounts? That's dumb as crap. Why would you even think that? Why would that even be a consideration? That seems really dumb to me, dog. I don't know why. I don't know why you would even think that. Not sure what's best. Oh, that's why. Because you're just pulling. Let's check all the options, no matter how dumb they are. I know I can't do the full 15% right now, as all my necessities have increased. Oh, have they? How about you decrease your necessities then? I bet all of them are not necessities. Imagine that. Imagine the world where somebody thinks something's a necessity, but it's not. Happens all the time. I just finished getting my savings up to a number I'm comfortable with. If I have to dip in my savings, do I lower my retirement percentage until I get it back to what I wanted at? Thank you. Yes, you would not be investing if you go back and you have a smaller than what you want as your emergency fund. Then yeah, you fill up the emergency fund first. You replenish the emergency fund before investing. Or if you have to use emergency fund money for something, then you hopefully an emergency is how that works as well, not some necessities that aren't a necessity. Then you would stop investing again until you get that baby step 3 emergency fund back up to the required level. Where was I? Distracted by chat. Oh, until I started that. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, I'd recommend if it's an option, the Roth TSP, and that way if you can't do 15%, then you got to take a look at what's going on here with your necessities. Got a great idea. Maybe check out all of your expenses. Maybe you're in too much house. Maybe you bought too much house. Maybe you're renting too nice of an apartment that's more expensive than your pay will allow. Maybe you're buying dumb stuff that you don't need to buy and that you think is a necessity. And so that's going to be a no. Quit being dumb. And if you can't do 15%, then and that would of course also mean that you have your debts paid off. So you can't assume. We cannot assume this person is on step 4. This person might be in step 2 and just doing all the steps at the same time, which is pretty dumb too. Pretty dumb way to look at the baby steps list. But some people interpret it like that, or they just decide to do it like that. And that's dumb as crap, people. So not advised. But assuming that this person is on baby step 4, you do need to take a look at what you're spending the money on and where is the money going. And again, if you do not make enough money to live in a particular area, then you need to move or make more money. It's very simple. Because you do have to be able to do 15% in investing beyond necessities. And it has to be an actual necessity. And I just don't trust people anymore because they'll say, I needed a new car, that kind of thing, for example, which obviously, no, you did not need it. You wanted it and chose to get it. Let's see. Next one, Maggie Griffin. Alrighty. What would Dave say in my situation? He would say the same thing that he would say in anybody's little situation. Whatever your little details are, do not change the advice, which is the beauty of it. Actually, people love to be unicorns and what is it, butterflies, snowflakes, where we're all different and I need something tailored specifically to me. No, you don't. You need to quit being dumb. Let's see. What would Dave do? Starting from scratch at female 34, 5 years separated, and just got paper done in December. What kind of paper? You mean a divorce paper? I don't know what that means. I have a daughter, 7 years old, who lives with her dad in China. Well, that complicates things if you're in America. Oh, and I am Vietnamese, by the way. Okay. I have zero debts. That part is great. One apartment that has been paid off and been rented out for 3 years now. I have about $35K in cash, no other investment. I'm dating a guy for almost a year and currently living with him in Canada. Not advised. Canada's fine, I guess, if you want to pay more money for stuff, more taxes, etc., etc. But that's fine, but not the living with a guy. And you have a tourist visa on it. He wants to get married so I can stay here permanently, but I just got out my toxic relationship, so I don't want to, didn't it say for almost a year now? So you didn't just get out of it. I mean, unless you're counting the paperwork not being done until December. Toxic relationship, so I don't want to jump onto another marriage, but you're fine with moving in with them. That's stupid. That's dumb. So soon, but on the other hand, I want to get married so I can easily find a job here without getting for a work permit, and that is not a good reason to get married. The reason to get married is because you want to get married to that gentleman. Hopefully he's not a hoser, or going back to school, which is a common way that immigration, which is a common way, well, all right, Vietnamese, fine, which is a common way that immigration do. I also want to go back to my country and live in my apartment. For doing that, I will have a spend at least $20K for renovation and buying furniture and such. You can live in it without doing renovation and buying furniture. You can live in it and without doing that. If I do that, it means I will have to break up with my boyfriend. True. So if you already know what you want to do, you wanted to do that, why are you even living with him? You're doing it wrong. You're being dumb as crap. I feel like I'm a mess. It's because you are. So you're doing it wrong. Dave would, of course, say, no, don't shack up. Don't check up. Do your own thing. It's great that you don't have debt. All right? And you should have $35K in cash, and so that would be full emergency fund, and maybe then some. Just depends. So you're in much better shape than a lot of people, especially coming out of a marriage. A toxic relationship marriage. And so, I mean, we just saying, I mean, the language barrier here, they got paper done in December. I don't know if that means they are divorced now and like there's no debt that had to be split or anything like that, or any other financial ramifications from that. At this point, we don't know. Oh, there's only 10. Let's see if there's more. Let's see. I do pay child support monthly, and I'm paying all tuition fees with my daughter. We have an agreement that she will live with me after she turns 11. Interesting. So, what I'm going to say about that, that better not be we just spit shook on it. That was just verbal. I mean, the child support monthly and the paying all tuition fees. Oh, we did that through the court, but this other thing about living with me after she turns 11 was just us agreeing to it. That's dumb as crap. You need to get that done through the courts as well. If that has not been, let's see if there's more information. I have enough of China. Okay. This is not a Dave question. Yes, it is. She asked, what would Dave say about it? He would just say that if you're living together, you should get married. Right. And you never should have moved in with him. Okay. So that's all. That was fun. Little bit of extra information there. Beep, beep, boo. Well, can anybody beat a 2005 Suzuki Verona? 2005 is the going oldest car, I think. We'll have to see if anybody else has a. Please weigh in. If you have an older car than the year of our Lord 2005. I did that already. Mom to artists. Okay. Starting FPU way late. Well, better late than never. So our church was offering FPU, so my hubs and I started 3 weeks ago. Me, 54 female, he's 60 man. Baby steps 1 and 2, the videos. Okay, they were motivating, and despite the crazy debt I'm looking at, I wasn't getting down about it. Great. Just, hey, let's do this. Great. But the third video was not motivating, lol. Hearing someone in their 30s super excited that they paid off their house and now they get to save, save, save. It took 10 years, but look at where we are now. That's how long it takes, because the house is, so you see, I understand you're new to it, but you have to understand what's going on there, because in paying off the house, you're not just doing that, you're doing steps 4, 5, and 6, which 4 is investing. That takes 15% of gross household income. So you're investing for your retirement. Plus, if you have kids, you're saving for kid college. If you choose to do that, that is also where you do that. That's step 5. And step 6 is pay off the home early. So you're doing all those at the same time. And that's why you still can't, even after you get to baby step 4, you cannot go crazy with spending, because you still have to take care of steps 4, 5, and 6. I mean, that's great, but in 10 years, me and Hub will be 65 and 70. It doesn't matter. You started FPU late. You did. And so this is what you get. Sorry. It's going to be the same advice. It's not a different timetable. Because you're an old, you don't get to start at a different baby step number. It doesn't work like that. You have to do it as same as if you were, adult, 18 years old and starting. You have to do it the same way that anybody young would be doing it as well. Because the order of the things is the order of the things, for the reason is this is how it should be no matter what age you start it in. Let's see, and being out of debt will be great, right? That's right. But there's not going to be much saving for later, because we will be at later. Sure, I get it. And so might be, that might be retirement time for you. And then you wouldn't be putting more money into retirement. Hopefully you have some. Otherwise, what are you going to retire on? You might have to still be working. Let's see. My hubs works full time and has been wonderful supporting. You might have to get your butt to work too if you're not. Let's see. Wonderful supporting us on one income through a lot of health ups and downs. I've homeschooled our 2 kids who are grown but still in the house. If they're grown but still in the house, they need to be kicking in for some expenses at least. Mr. Ramsey would like adults to move out and live on their own. 1 semester away from graduating college. debt-free due to scholarships. That part is fabulous. So I'm looking at my third career to help with paying off our debts. Great. So that would mean both of you working. So, and that's going to probably be the best you can do. While also keeping expenses down. And as soon as the kids graduate college, you need to let them launch so that you don't continue to pay for all of their stuff. Anyway, if anyone wants to share their started way late story that has gotten past baby step 1 and 2 and possibly more, I could definitely use some hope. Well, nothing is gonna turn back time. If I could turn back time. Yeah. And that one was gonna use for Christy Wright song. I never even finished it. I started writing it. I don't think I finished it. Anyway, I started writing it like the week before she left the Ramsey show. So, yeah. And how did that go? Oh, no, that wasn't it. Oh, that one, oh, because she wrote a book called Take Back Your Time, and I would just go, Take Back Your Time. So that wasn't it. The Christy Wright song was to Private Eyes. That's what it is. Christy Wright, she's helping you with all your business moves. And that was fun. And so, yeah, but then she left. I think it was before I finished the song. I don't think I had more than a chorus, maybe one verse or something like that, which I don't even recall. Anyway, where was I? Oh, about starting way late. So you are just starting at 54, and what you have to, and he's a 60 man. What you have to do is think about it. That is better than starting at 55 and 61. And unfortunately, that's the best you can do. So, but yes, you getting back to work now is how you do that. So, and you know what? Saying, oh, we should started earlier, obviously, but that's not going to change anything. Okay? And you being jealous of people that are younger or started earlier, that's not going to help anything either. Do things that will help it, like going back to work, cutting expenses, keeping expenses low for the rest of your life, probably is what you're going to have to do, depending on how much retirement. It doesn't say how much retirement they have. Yeah, it doesn't say that. Oh, there's only 8 comments. Let's see if somebody axed or they added that. And that's a nar on that. But, yeah, you have to do the best you can do now. And again, that is if the kids are working, even if they're still in school, you might want to get a couple bucks from them to help make the ends meet, to help out with your upcoming retirement. And so, you don't get a pass for starting late, the same way you don't get a pass to live in a high cost of living area if you don't make high cost of living money. That's just the situation, and you have to embrace the reality of the situation instead of being whiny or anything like that about the fact that you started late. So you just got to deal with it. So guess what? If you want to make more progress, that means you got to be more intense and not spend any money at all, or spoil these kids that are still living in your house that are adults. Yeah. Boop, boop, boom. Di has to get coffee, but she did say I'm giving great advice. Hope these people watch his show. They don't, probably, but that's okay. That's okay. Never-ending emergencies, life. Life life nefariousness. Okay, 993. Never-ending emergencies. Okay, so what I'm going to say about this immediately would be some people, you're not going to believe this, some people use the emergency fund for things that aren't emergencies. If you can imagine such a thing. Feeling quite discouraged. I made a lot of stupid moves. We all have. And after I made these stupid moves, we suffered one of the worst things that could ever happen to someone. Caused one of us to have a mental breakdown and make some bad choices. Yep. Sounds like it got out of control there. This really has compounded on each other into a financial mess, okay? I cannot change the latter. That's right. The latter half. You can't change what happened, but you can fix the financial mess. If you're breathing, you can fix the financial mess. And if you're breathing in, have an income. But I now know that the problem started a long time ago. Long time ago. Had I had a head on my shoulders years ago, you had a head on it, it was just dumb. Just like a lot of us. I cannot throw stones on that. I will say it's dumb, though, because I do know dumb, because I've done it. And I would have done a lot of stuff differently, of course. I'm blessed to have a high income. Great. That will help. But I also live in one of the most expensive places in the United States, right? And so just because you live in one of the most expensive places, you have to, and you have a high income that you say is a high income, and they all do. They all say, I have a high income. I make more money here, but it still has to be enough to live there. So it can't be just more money than everywhere else, but also not be enough to live in that very expensive place. So that's not always a free pass there. I committed to Ramsey about 4 months ago. All right, got a $1,000 fund put together. Boom, great. Wiped out by vet bills. All right, well, that's the issue there. So how many pets you have, and unfortunately, pets, they're great. I understand it. You know, you don't want to say sell the horse, but hey, sometimes you gotta. But the more pets you have, the more you're opening yourself up to the vet expenses, of course. Got another $1,000 put together. Boom, wiped out by car repair. Was that an emergency, or is that something that could have waited until you cash flowed it? See, that's what I'm saying. Also, the vet bill, I mean, could that have waited, or is that like an emergency, actual emergency situation? Sweet deal. Got another $1,000 cobble together, and boom, a 1,600 car repair. And now to top it off, there was an accounting error, an honest error by a third party in my wife's prior business, and we owe $2,700 in back state taxes. If you were doing the math on this, it puts me $3,300 in the hole. Well, yeah, but you can make a payment schedule with the state. So do that. I say all this to say, man, this is upsetting. Well, it sounds like you don't have a great car. Maybe it is now that you've had 2 repairs in a row. Maybe it'll be fine now, but I mean, this stuff happens. And, it's not somebody singling you out, although a lot of times people in this situation feel like they are being singled out. For this, I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to start the steps, but that doesn't give you a clear sailing the whole way. I say all this to say, man, oh man, it's upsetting. But do you guys budget an amount for this type of never-ending stuff? And if so, what? No, you really shouldn't do that. If you're on step 2, you need to be paying off debt, not planning for things that might not ever happen. And so again, if you've just done the one $1,600 repair, where's the other one? Boom, boom, boom. And another one for 1,000 at least. So yeah, one would hope that maybe the car will be fine for 5 minutes, and you won't have another problem with it. Boom, boom, boom. And of course, people don't like to talk about this, but I understand you love your pets, but you have to put a dollar amount on there where it says, okay, well, we can't do this anymore. And so that's the problem when you have these liabilities, and pets are a liability. So budget an amount for this type of never-ending stuff. And okay, and you said, what is it? It's 2 car repairs, and I understand they came in quick succession. The 2 car repairs, and it's one accounting mistake. One accounting mistake. Okay? And I understand that you feel like it's never ending. I see 3 things you talked about. You talked about 3 things. Now, see, this person is factoring in all the stuff that happened in the past, all those stupid moves, etc., their whole life of things, and they think it's always something. Even before you can't base it on your life before you started doing the baby steps. Your experience with the baby steps started only 4 months ago, and so that's all you need to be considering when you're thinking about and characterizing it, this type of never-ending stuff. That's exaggeration. I understand feeling sorry for yourself as well. And if so, what? You would not budget for, again, car repairs that you don't know are coming. So you don't know that it's going to happen. And can we hope that since you spend a minimum of $2,600 on it recently, different repairs, maybe it'll be fine for a couple months and let you get some traction on the debt. Also, any words of wisdom or encouragement would help. Yeah, keep at it. And you need to, as much as you can, stop letting things. I understand car repairs. I understand a vet bill. But stop letting things be an emergency as much as you can. Edit, when I went and looked at my accounts to move money around to try to get this squared away, it did hit me that I have paid about $3,000 off as well. Great. So that's some sign of relief. Yeah, so that means progress. Yeah. Even though you keep getting knocked back to step 1, you paid $3,000 off in 4 months, and that's fabulous. And so here's what I'm going to say about that. Sus. It seems a little sus right there. That seems like an awful lot to be able to pay off and also refill the emergency fund multiple times and also do $2,600 in car repair and such. And so I'm going to need to take a look at your budget, sir, and see what dumb stuff you're spending money on, because you probably are. Because being able to put that much money on something, you said you make a lot of money, but maybe you don't have enough money to live where you live. So that, if you have that problem, you're always going to be behind the 8 ball dealing with that as well. And so further along on the baby steps, that would make it easier to deal with this. But since you're on baby step 2 and going back to 1 a lot, then that is a problem. Also, guess what? On a very high, on a high income, didn't say very high, but on a high income, you can't cash flow $1,000 out of your next check, or is that already spent? Like on housing or something like that. Are you paying way more than 25%? of net income on housing, then you're doing it wrong and you don't make enough money to live there. And so you need to move. So it could be some of that as well involved in this. So it's difficult to say. Yeah, had I not been following this method, I would have been screwed even more. Big time. Yeah, that's right. Update 2. All right. Maybe this is actually a positive post. I've only had the chance to plug these numbers into my budget sheet because I have lost about $400 in payments a month or so. It will only take a couple of months to recover from this. Okay? Yeah, to some extent. And what you do is you do that stuff. You update your numbers and take a look at your situation before you make stuff up and you know, and come at it with from this never-ending emergencies mindset, and you're just complaining on the subreddit here. So yeah, I'm glad you got around to that eventually, but it would, you know, it would have been better had you done that earlier. Obviously. To some extent too, I think the car stuff honestly comes from not being responsible enough, taking care of business, and instead spending my money on garbage. Yeah, so quit doing that if you're doing any of that. No, nothing. Spend money on nothing that's not 100% a necessity. So again, I would have to, you know, take a look at the budget and see what's going on there, and maybe you can't afford to live there despite high income. Fun times. Let's see what Sid has to say. The music died. That's only from 10 minutes ago. Sid says we do $100 a month for miscellaneous expenses, but for big car repairs and stuff, that's dipping in the emergency fund at that point. That's it. Says that's what you do for car repairs. That's not the normal maintenance we can budget for. Says well, first choice would be cutting back the snowball for that month, right, and cash flowing it. But if the repair is too big, then emergency fund dip. Yeah. No. You gotta have a car to get to work, and so that does qualify as an emergency. But some people have emergencies that are not actually emergencies. All right, what we got coming for up tomorrow? Excited but nervous. What is this? Found Dave Ramsey last year, so this will be somebody fairly new to the program here, so we'll get on that. Best time to buy a car, best time to buy anything is when you can afford it, or when you actually do need it. There's not a best time to buy a car. I don't like cars, but anyway, I'll get into more on that tomorrow. And it took a year, but I finished baby step 1, my story. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and say, I'm gonna call it now. I called it, dude. I'm gonna say there's at least one thing in here that I would say it was an emergency, so you shouldn't have taken money out of baby step 1, your emergency fund, starter emergency fund, to do that. And we'll verify that tomorrow. Alrighty, once more, youtube.com/CoachSteveMoney. I am Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you are having money problems, or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation assessment with me at calendly.com/CoachSteveMoney. That is in the ticker below. Also in the video description, you can email me with financial coaching questions or anything about finances, anything on my YouTube channel, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Donations can go to paypal.me/CoachSteveMoney. Alternatively, CashApp, $CoachSteveMoney. It wasn't taken. Imagine that. Walmart gift card. Same email address, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Upcoming streams, maybe a game stream coming soon. I don't know which one yet. But otherwise, the Ramsey Show After Show, this show, Monday through Friday, 10:27 a.m. Although today's best of ended 6 minutes earlier than that. So I started a couple minutes early. But yeah, 10:27 a.m. Eastern Time is when the Ramsey Show is over on the YouTube. That's Eastern Time, a.m. And that's the time I start. Alrighty, thanks so much for watching. And please subscribe, like, and comment. And thanks to everybody that has already done those things. Much, much appreciated. And as always, make smart financial decisions every day. Trey says the header for that last entry sounds like a disclaimer for excuses. Yep, you're right. That's what I was thinking too, Trey.